Hello, I'm Clayton,
And I'm Alex.
and these are the things we've seen.
I thought about just eating the microphone.
I just into it.
So today,
This is episode 2.
episode 2, today we're going to talk about Klay himself. We're going to expose him to the public. We're going to talk about where you were born.
Oh man, okay.
Where Starbucks was invented.
Oh shit.
Where people do things.
See, and I love that. Like, okay, I always tell people Seattle because they don't know where Bremerton is. We have two really, really awesome mutual hardworking musician friends, Rebecca and Brian. Rig Time, as you know them, or
Getting over.
Getting Over, as you more indie people will recognize them as. They know where Bremerton is because they've toured there. They've played one of our venues out there, and but yeah, not a lot of the people, unless you are really into MXPX, knows a lot about Bremerton. So I was born in 1984 in Bremerton, Washington, at Harrison Hospital. And if you need my social security number, I can give those information away too.
Could I get the 3 silly little numbers on the back of your credit card?
666.
That's not fucking real. So anyways, I'm going to buy illegal items.
Have fun being a 100 air.
That's fine.
Bremerton was cool for about 24 years, and then I moved out here. So
Good old Lacrosse.
yeah, didn't even know this place existed. But I ran into a really, really awesome music scene out here, and was very, very warm and welcoming. And I kind of wish that the music scene that we had here, or have here, I should say,
Right.
existed where I was when I was a teenager, because maybe it did. I just wasn't like a part of it because I was living with my grandmother. She's kind of overprotective of things that I was doing, even if it was like going to a show. Our equivalent of like our venue out here, or used to be venue out here, I should say, was a place called The Hole in Port Orchard.
Okay.
Which is, 15-20 minutes away from Bremerton. So I would see flyers for shows for bands all the time. Like, I need to get to The Hole. I need to go to The Hole. I've only been to The Hole 4 times total.
You think you know a guy. This guy was.
So, I kind of wish that, like, and that's the thing, like, when we were in school, especially my first band, like, we'd be like, oh, dude, this band's playing at The Hole. Like, I think there was a band called Claymore, I think.
Oh, dude, that's such a hard name.
I had to draw that name because I was like, Claymore, you
Dude,
know.
there's so many cool Claymore related items.
So yeah, I think I don't remember talking to any of the band members about the name, but I want to believe it was because of the sword.
I was gonna say, is it the sword or the bow?
yeah, I'm willing to bet it was the sword. And I kind of wish I wasn't as shy as I was back then, because I would have talked to like those dudes and been like, yeah, like, show me what you know, and I kind of want to be inspired by you.
Like, not to like interrupt or anything, but would you say if you had the music scene we have now back then there, do you think things would be different for you?
Yes.
Do you think you would have
1000%.
still ended up here?
I would have ended up here. Oh my gosh. So the story about why I ended up here was completely non-music related, actually. But as far as like music scenes go, I probably would have been more into spending time with musicians locally instead of in my bedroom, because my grandma's house was kind of almost in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
It was just on the edge of like city and just on the edge of like really in the dark, deep of the woods.
Do you have any skinwalkers?
So I didn't know what Skinwalker was until 5 years ago.
No.
But the the big mythological creature out there, whether you want to call him mythological or not, is Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
Oh.
Because you can't go 5 feet without someone having like one of those iron Bigfoot silhouettes in their front yard. Like you see a few out here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, you get them every now and then.
It's like every other house in Washington.
That's incredible.
like Bigfoot is a big deal out there. So
before we go to the next thing, I have a much more important question.
No, shoot.
How did Twilight affect your life in Washington?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. Because no one ever goes to Forks for any reason.
See, I was just convinced that was made up for the movie,
No,
and Shay explained it to me.
It's a real fucking place.
Wow, that's crazy. Imagine living in a place called Forks.
And it was cool. I knew it existed, but then Twilight happened, and someone's like, "Oh, Washington State's so great." I'm like, "Why do you care about Washington State all of a sudden?" "Oh, because that's where Twilight is." "Oh, where in Washington?" "Forks." "Okay, that's a weird location."
Was it like far from where you were?
It's way out of the way. Like from
man.
my hometown, it takes like maybe 4 or 5 hours to drive out
Jesus,
there.
Yeah.
If you're going the speed limit, but if you're going a little faster, I don't know, 3 hours. I'm guessing.
Depends on how silly you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of silly shit in Washington to pull over to see. So, but yeah, Twilight was after 2009. Like, because I got a job at Hot Topic in 2008 in our mall, and
Wait, here, right?
No, in Washington.
In Washington.
So
okay.
before I moved out here, I had a job at Hot Topic for literally like maybe less than 2 months.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And like in the time that it took us to move from Washington to here, Twilight happened. So
okay.
I didn't
So
know
it was
about. I had no clue about Twilight before I moved. And then all of a sudden I get out here, I get my job at Hot Topic out here, and Twilight's everywhere. I'm like, what the hell is this?
So what happened in the days it took to get
It literally was like just a matter of like overnight, you know?
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it was fun to like make fun of for a while.
For a little bit.
Like all those, there's...
You just goof on it?
Our boss, probably one of the best bosses I've ever had, like... He told us like, "Oh yeah, I guess the company is going to pay for us all to go watch New Moon." So
that's so random.
I was like, "All right, I guess I'll." He's like, "Yeah, go watch it for like market research."
For market research.
And I was like, "I guess."
So, as we've established, I'm a younger fella.
Yeah.
When you were working at Hot Topic, I was shopping at Hot Topic.
I know, dude.
Which is so funny because I definitely had to have met you several times and had no clue.
Yeah.
Until years later when we would connect through music.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy to me because, like, I would go to Hot Topic to buy, band shirts and stuff and, like, silly things. But it was, like, when Hot Topic was, like, phasing out of selling CDs and whatnot. And I remember, like, getting a couple there. Like, I definitely got like a Mice and Men CD there at some point.
That makes sense.
Sure. Like stuff like that. But it's just so crazy how like full circle kind of things have come to like we're sitting here now.
Yeah.
And
no, what's funny about that is like I think Cody, our really, really good friend Cody, has one of the best stories about running into me at Hot Topic and then like to where we are right now. What was it? There was a tour called Music as a Weapon that came to the Lacrosse Center. It was like Disturbed, Killswitch Engage.
I remember when that came.
Yeah, that was a stacked lineup too. I love that show. And like it was one time like I could go see like Chimera and Spineshank, and I was the only person in the crowd that probably knew who Spineshank was. Dude. And I actually got to talk to Mikey from Spineshank and was like, "Hey, dude, I love the shit that you did on the Roadrunner United CD." He goes, "Oh, that thing sucked." And I was like, I liked it.
I liked it. That's what matters.
I actually, I got to meet Mitch from Suicide Silence.
That's cool.
At that show, and those dudes are hilarious.
Dude, it's so unfortunate that we don't get tours like that coming through our arena anymore.
Yeah.
It's... Lacrosse is cool. I like living here. There's a lot of really great things about Lacrosse. It's really awesome. But... our arena doesn't get anything cool.
And I don't know whose fault that is, because what's funny is I was actually looking at the comments on the most recent, like, oh, we've got 6 shows lined up, and all the comments are like, I bet it's country, I bet it's country, I bet it's country, like, oh, it's gonna be butt rock because in this moment needs a place to stay or something.
Yeah,
and they're not partially wrong. Like, that is a pretty common stereotype of that like arena, but I'm like, is that the promoter's fault? Is that the venue's fault? Is that like whatever's just available? Like, I don't.
I mean, so from like the brief time I worked there, part of it like was the talent buyer.
Yeah.
Like the dude's just like, well, we've got monster trucks and Elvis Explosion. We're fine.
Elvis
Like, that was that. And I mean, I don't know. It very much could have been.
And that's
better.
the thing too. It's like, I mean, I feel like there is absolutely like a higher like authority in that line that's like not getting us the shows that we want.
Yeah.
Look where we are. We're in Wisconsin, like.
But then we have a tour come through, like the Loathe one.
Yeah.
They came through and played in a park.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, they didn't get to play it because of weather reasons.
That
So
would've
it
been
wasn't their
sick.
fault. It was purely weather related. But
Yeah.
the fact that like Loathe came through with what, Chevelle in 3 Days Grace?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm also thinking part of that is like the lacrosse center was going through its renovations, so did
Right.
they have to sign contracts like, hey, we have a show, but it's going to be at a ballpark?
Maybe. Well, because it
I
wasn't
have no
them
clue.
doing it.
And see, that's why I don't chime in on that shit, because I don't know all the details,
Right.
That's why I'm not an edgelord in comments anymore, because I'm just like, you know what? If someone else wants to make themselves look silly, go for it. I don't care.
I'm just creeping on it.
I would love to have gone to see Loathe.
It would have been cool. Like, I also would have loved to have seen Chevelle. That would have been really cool too.
Dude,
But
of all, like, okay, so like I actually was talking to someone about this recently, and we can make this an episode later on. Is like, do you have an actual favorite butt rock band?
yeah, for sure.
And I 1000% do. And the person that I asked gave me their answer, and I'm like, that's my least favorite butt rock band. So,
All right. Well, now I'm curious.
Yeah.
We'll save that for another time.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's kind of funny that we don't get like cool stuff like that used to come through.
It was sick. Like, that was.
I mean, there was like cool stuff that would happen. I remember my dad. He would go to the shows like that.
Mhm.
Like he would see that stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, why can't I go?
Right.
And now, like, I've been to a few shows at the Lacrosse Center, and like, it reminds me how much I hate arena things because it's just like beer gets thrown on you, and
Dude, yeah, I think my experience at arena shows would be 1000% better if like there was. I don't want to say like designate where booze is served, and you can't really like make
you can't
that
like control that.
you can't
exactly.
control that. Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't care that it's there.
Yeah.
I just like hate when I leave and I smell like beer and
My
I
feet are
don't
sticky,
drink.
and
Like, I feel like I have to get new shoes. And
yeah,
like,
dude, I actually
rip
did
off
have
my
to go get a
skin.
pair of shoes after like a concert one time.
I will say though, I don't know if you would have been at this working it or anything.
Yeah.
But God, this was probably like 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Under Oath came through and played the Lacrosse Center
Oh my god. When
because they
was
were
that?
on tour with Breaking Benjamin.
Fuck, I missed that. That's right. That was massive.
Yeah, it was when they came back.
Oh, dude, I
When they got
remember
off
this now.
hiatus and everything.
I remember this because I wanted to go, but like I had some work shit going on.
I went specifically to see Under Oath, and like I watched Breaking Benjamin for the most part too.
Yeah.
They were great. I like Breaking Benjamin, but
Yeah.
dude, I was like, Under Oath and the Lacrosse Center.
Yeah. I'm so pissed I didn't go to that, and I should have, but I remember now because I sold my Under Oath shirt specifically
crazy.
for that concert.
Dude.
And I was like, dude, are you sure you want to buy this shirt? It's got like a hole like right in the front. He goes, I don't care. Like, I got to see them tonight. And
That's crazy.
I was like, all right, you can have it, dude.
Yeah, no, it was nuts because my dad and I went to that, and my mom and my brother.
Yeah.
So like
God, that
they got
would've
to
been-
experience Under Oath with me,
That would have been sick.
and we were like up in the bleachers and stuff. So I'm just like watching Under Oath from like the right side, like stage right.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cool.
So to tie back into the original question,
Yeah.
when I'm from Washington and all this stuff, that is one of the things that I actually like about this area is the amount of shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like-
there's a fair amount of stuff going on.
We've like I feel like lacrosse in general is so centrally located between Minneapolis and Madison and Milwaukee, even like
even Chicago
to Chicago, like
it's not too bad of a drive from here to Chicago. Like we've done plenty of shows, or gone to Chicago for a few things.
Yeah, me and my fiance, we go we'll drive 10 hours out of the way for just fun shit.
Yeah,
we drove all the way to Colorado one time, and this year we did Ohio.
Yeah,
and so going to Chicago is nothing. I think our first concert date was Deftones in Chicago. So,
oh man,
on my birthday, I think.
I remember that because I'm trying to remember now exactly what the situation was. I think Brian was talking about going.
Yeah,
and I was like, that'd be cool to go to, but I don't want to go to Chicago.
Yeah,
and now I'm like, I don't care.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Who do they play with? They play with Thrice and Rise Against. That's what it was.
That's a funny lineup.
It was really weird. And so, I didn't realize, because I was like, oh, yeah, Deftones are massive. This is going to be they played second. They were right in the middle because Rise Against is a local band for Chicago.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
I was like, damn, okay.
That's kind of cool because then you can just leave.
And then, well, we could have, but, I mean, Rise Against is cool.
I don't mind Rise Against. They've got a couple tracks.
And early Rise Against is my favorite. So
yeah.
There's nothing against the new stuff, but I
haven't heard anything past 2011.
That's about where it peaked for me.
Yeah.
But then I started realizing they're gonna favor the local band for
right, it's their hometown. It makes sense.
They did it with Chicago Open Air too, because I got a job there doing merch with me and my brother Brian and Rebecca.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was one of the coolest experiences I ever had, because our merch booth was right off to where I could look over at stage B, and I watched Periphery, I watched Baby Metal, I watched Meshuggah, I watched Let Live, all while I was at work. And I was like, this is awesome. And I'm I'm selling merch, and I just have to look over there and be like, my misery,
That's so cool.
But then towards the end of the night, we didn't watch any of the main stuff because it's in the actual arena. But then I was looking at the bill. It's oh God, who was it? Korn was there. It was Korn, Disturbed, Rammstein was there one night, and I can't remember what the Disturbed night was, but I was like, oh, this band is obviously going to play after Disturbed. Well, Disturbed's a local band too for Chicago, and I was like, damn, okay, well, whatever.
It's kind of crazy how that is.
Yeah,
I would love to go to Chicago Open Air one time at least.
And we were talking about in the last one, you don't like headlining anyways, so
I ain't trying to do that. So
yeah, I mean, don't bill me last, please.
I stuck it out for Slipknot.
That was one of the other bands. Slipknot was sick
because we went to my fiance and I went to Slipknot. What was it? 2 years ago, I think. Something like that. They played in
before they fired
Milwaukee.
Jay.
Before they fired the drummer.
Yeah,
the one that actually plays drums.
Yeah.
It was in Milwaukee at the Summerfest grounds.
Okay.
And that was actually a really cool tour. It was Slipknot with Code Orange.
Oh my God.
Code Orange.
Dude, I remember that
tour.
I can see the poster in my head.
So it was Slipknot, Code Orange. Why can't I think of it? Jason Butler's other band.
Oh, Fever. 333.
They played, and then Killswitch. And dude, that was a crazy
That's
time.
A good lineup.
Yeah, I was so stoked that I finally got to see Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
That was the main reason, and then everything else was just a bonus.
Yeah.
And we were pretty far back in the bleachers, but it didn't feel like it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think that was the best experience for it, as opposed to being down and in the pit area and stuff. And I was like, man, I think I would have hated it if I was down there.
I've grown to not like the pit as much as I have in the past. When I was 16, dude, my first mosh pit was Deftones, right when White Pony came out.
Man.
So that was fun. And then my second major mosh pit was Mudvayne at Ozfest.
No way.
2001. So, and that's another thing that I like about doing this is you're getting the older experience, and you're younger, obviously, so
some semi-recent things.
So you saying that you saw Slipknot was really, really cool, and it really is. Was that wasn't with Joey, was it? Was that?
No, this would have been Jay.
That was Jay, yeah,
because
he's been in the band for 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, you saw Jay
Yeah,
Slipknot.
it was like part of the Knotfest Roadshow tour thing.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because like that was a big deal for Shay and I to go to.
Yeah.
You know, like Slipknot's been one of my favorite bands for forever.
I remember when I first moved here, I heard a Slipknot tour come through with it was Slipknot, Trivium, and Coheed and Cambria.
That's a crazy tour.
It is crazy lineup, and
Yeah.
at the time, like I have repented my ways. Like I didn't like Coheed at first, so like
And then you figured it out.
I figured it out. Yeah, like I actually enjoy Coheed and
I
Cambria
said, damn,
now.
that
so-
hair got me.
dude. Okay, when he trolled people with the hair thing, did
Yeah.
you see that?
I did.
I was like, no,
Like,
he
that's
didn't
not
cut
real,
all that
right?
shit off. Like, how do you do that? So, but yeah, so
He actually isn't legally allowed.
you're not legally allowed to cut your hair, Claudio.
There's like some contract, I'm sure.
No, for sure. But yeah, I think being here, like you can travel in any direction and hit a show.
Yeah.
When I was living in Washington, there were decent concerts that would come through. Like we have what I consider the big one is the Gorge Amphitheater.
Okay.
It's what I would call like the Washington State equivalent of Red Rocks in Colorado.
Okay. So it's a pretty big deal.
I still got Red Rocks on my bucket list.
I'd love to go.
But the Gorge is sick. So,
Okay.
and I will fight to the death, and I will hope that there's video of this. My fiance Amanda makes fun of me all the time when I bring up this story, and she goes, "Oh yeah, well every singer says that at every single like concert venue." I'm like, yeah, I know they do, but like they don't stop in the middle of a song and go, "Look at this sunset right now." Like, and Randy in Lamb of God is that guy.
Oh,
that, like
100% that guy.
yeah, like what was it? It was a song off of Sacrament, and he like stopped mid song and says, "Yo, yo, 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 hold on, look at this sunset," you know. And I was like, "Holy shit, that is actually a really cool sunset." And you know,
that's crazy.
He was talking about like, "I've been to Japan, I've been to Australia, and like I've never get to see this shit. Like you guys have something really cool right now."
And then he went to prison.
He did go to prison.
I love Lamb of God. That Lamb of God is another like I gotta see them one day.
I've seen them, once, twice.
Twice.
I've seen them twice now.
And it's crazy that they still
Yeah.
make such consistently good albums.
Okay, Omens, the new one.
Yeah.
I love that.
Incredible.
New, the latest
the most
one,
recent.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they just dropped an EP in between now and then. So
I don't think so.
No.
I think they did a live thing.
I just watched the documentary because like we have time to do that at work.
Yeah.
And on our side of work at least, like I can actually watch like stuff while I'm picking off electronics and shit. And I watched that entire like making of Omens documentary.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
So my one critique that I could give a lot of musicians these days, they need to start watching more like behind the scenes documentaries.
I love watching stuff like that, like the Cannibal Corpse ones.
So motivational.
Yeah,
it's so
it makes
good.
you feel better about what you're doing.
I haven't seen the Cannibal Corpse one. I probably
it's
should.
awesome. You would love it.
What year did they do that around?
Oh man, I feel like they've done 2 of them now, for sure. One, I don't remember what record it was for.
Okay,
but you gotta watch it
because if it's the Evisceration album, I think I have that one.
Okay,
So,
then yeah. So
I just haven't watched
that one.
it yet.
I feel like there's one more. I could be wrong, but no,
Yeah.
you gotta watch that one.
Yeah, if you're an aspiring band, like I know there's a lot of first pieces of advice that you're going to get from people, like like practice every day, go to shows, start networking with people, stuff like that. But like my personal one is watch how other bands do this shit.
Yeah, like bands that are like that know what's going on.
Yeah,
like,
watch
see what they're doing.
The other one that is like my favorite is the Metallica Making the Black album.
Yeah,
like that one's just nuts.
So this goes really really well into the next thing while we continue to expose you.
Yeah.
So let's kind of do these together. The first song you ever heard, but then what made you want to get into music? Because we've talked like about these documentaries being inspiring and motivating and stuff, and we've talked about like bands that we grew up on. But like, what was the first song that hit you? And then, like, it can be the same thing. Like, is that what like got you to fall in love with music, or like what came in next?
There were very specific different jumping points. The first song I heard that I was like, oh my gosh, like I recognize this as a song and I'm like attached to it. It's the theme song from a 1980s cartoon called Silverhawks.
Okay.
And it's so niche. No one knows about Silverhawks. Everyone knows about Thundercats. Everyone knows about He-Man. But Silverhawks was just
Overshadowed by these?
way overshadowed.
Okay.
And it's such an underrated show, but it's so amazing. So highly encourage everyone. You can YouTube like random parts of the episodes. I don't know what they're available on right now, if they are for anything, but I was probably 4-5 years old and been like, oh, I like this, like, rhythm or whatever it is. The second jumping point was I was probably 6 years old. I lived with my mom and dad in almost the middle of woods on the other side of where my grandma was, and oh god, maybe 45 minutes away. And I remember specifically, there's a long stretch of road. It was an August day. My mom had the windows down, and she was playing Full Moon Fever from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Okay.
And Running Down a Dream came on, and I was like, dude, this is it. This is the song.
That's what hooked you?
Oh my god. So like Tom Petty is like probably like the real artist starting point,
Okay.
Not to discredit the people that wrote the Silverhawks theme song, but yeah, it was
You
like
guys suck. Tom Petty.
I don't know if they're like, it's god, those guys, like, there's guitar solos in that theme song. They're just like, damn, this is sick.
I'm gonna check this out when we're done.
We have.
That sounds
You have
crazy.
to. Yeah. So maybe we can find a way to blip
A
it
little
up
snippet into you.
somewhere. Maybe that's the intro song.
Yeah, that's actually the intro. You ripped off that.
And then for like so it was Tom Petty, and then I was probably 6 years later when I was 12. The song that made me really like, okay, I have to like play music was like Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
So that was like, yep, I got to do this.
It's crazy because I kind of forgot about that, but I remember playing that on Guitar Hero and going, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And like at that point I had already like obviously been exposed to like things in that realm, but like that's just one of those things where like you can't help but like listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool too that like we both got that.
Yeah, and man, I am such a shit guitar player on Guitar Hero. So,
dude, I was never that good. But
I forget where I saw this, but like a lot of people that like have never touched guitar, but they'll play Guitar Hero, and then they'll go play guitar and be like, "Oh, dude, this is sick." But like, I know so many guitar players that are like, I can't fucking do this. Like,
dude, yeah, I don't know if I could do it now.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah,
but
I think my brother is the only one that I've ever seen 100% through the fire and flames.
Dude, he would too. That sounds like him.
He did, and I was just sitting there going, I can't do that. And I got jealous of a piece of plastic.
And it's crazy because he's also good at guitar.
Yeah,
like real guitar.
Yeah, I know, and I'm just like, whatever, I give up. So,
I hate that he's good at things.
Yeah. Shout out to Kai Guy.
shout out freaking Carl.
Shout out. Yeah.
Shout out, yeah.
Shout out, yeah, I don't know.
Dude, big yeah guy.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, after Rage, I went through my new metal phase, and
then just never left it.
No, you can't.
Once you're in, you're in.
Once the new metal latches on, it never lets go. And then you go to shows like Music as a Weapon, and you start talking to the members of Spineshank, and you remind them, hey, you're a member of Spineshank. They go, I know.
I'm aware of what I've done.
Yeah, I remember, I forget if it was Chris Garza or Mark from Suicide Silence, but they're like, dude, we're doing a show with Mikey from Spineshank. It's like,
dude, that's so fun.
Those guys love these guys too. Like, that's so cool.
That was probably like a dream thing for them.
Yeah, and I didn't know who Suicide Silence was.
Okay.
Until the night before. So,
really?
When I first moved here, I took any and every job I could possibly get my hands on, because our big goal was move out of this area and move into an area where like it's just me and her,
Right.
And so I got a job as a bartender at Red Lobster. I got a job at Hot Topic as a sales associate. And then I did partial, like, second shift, third shift stuff at the Southside Walmart,
Dude, you should have just been a shrimp at Red Lobster.
I should have just been a shrimp. All you can eat.
I can eat. I
would have been an all you can eat shrimp. And
I'm a bit of a slut for all you can eat shrimp. So Let me tell you.
Oh, I think there's an article saying that they're backpedaling their promotion because they lost so much money on that.
That's their problem.
Yeah.
Keep feeding me. I paid for this. I went there for my birthday this past year. This is totally off topic. I just love Red Lobster and the shrimp.
You won't love it if you work there.
No, I believe that, and that's fine. I don't ever need that experience. I just want to enjoy my endless shrimp in peace. I remember before we went, I found out that they had endless shrimp back, and I was like driving by. Dude, I could have crashed my vehicle. I was like, I don't even remember where I was going, but I remember seeing it and I went, no fucking way, and I like pulled out my phone. I was like, Shay, endless shrimp. And she was like, what? I was like, it's back. And I was like, that's where we're going for my birthday now.
Oh man.
And I ate so much shrimp.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry for those shrimp.
Did your stomach hurt yourself?
Oh God, I probably shit like a gallon of shrimp. I mean,
God.
I for sure did. My body just is like, no, screw you. But
yeah, that's the other thing from Seattle is like you're almost force fed so much seafood. It's insane.
See, and I'm like,
I got sick of it so fast.
I'm so whatever about seafood.
But you Midwesterners out here, you love your seafood,
dude,
because you never get it.
Yeah,
you love your cheese. You think we're weird when we come out and like all of a sudden we taste cheese curds and it's like, oh, this is unique. Like, no, it's not. This is
just a piece of cheese. Like, like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, before we go back to where we were,
I
get really bothered when people are like, what's a cheese curd? I'm like, have you just never eaten cheese? Are you stupid or something? Like, and it's not even like I'm offended because I'm from Wisconsin and I have to be. No, I just think you're a bozo if you've just never had cheese. It's just cheese in a different form.
See, when I moved out here, like, someone told me, oh, you have to try, like, cheese curds. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? They're like, oh, it's just delicious. Okay. And I was like, it's just cheese.
I don't know why people make such a big deal out of it.
The same thing with like I'm trying not to be a Culver's hater because I know that's really unpopular, but someone told me, oh, you got to try a butter burger, and I was like,
yeah,
all right. And so I this is years ago, people that know
pre-vegan Klay.
pre-vegan Klay. So I came in and I'm eating this like burger and I was like, oh, this is good, and I had a couple other on my plate and I was like, so which one's the butter burger? And she was like, the one that you're eating. And I was like, it just tastes like a fucking burger.
We're like, where's the stick of butter?
Yeah, I was expecting this thing to be like doused and creamy and like, something that like tasted like a stick of like Land O'Lakes or something. And I was just like, I've had this.
I've had this before. I've been to McDonald's.
And I was like, I don't trust this person anymore.
Dude, I love a good Culver's chicken sandwich. And I'll leave it at that.
I think that was my first and last visit to Culver's.
Man, I'm telling you right now, they got great lettuce.
That's fair. That's probably
buns.
fair. There's a lot of places I wouldn't eat lettuce at though. So.
No, that's fair.
But maybe they cut theirs fresh though.
Oh, they definitely do. Like the main dude for Culver's is like one of the top dogs for Quick Trip.
Oh, okay.
So for sure, same standards.
That's
like,
funny.
Guaranteed.
That's fun. I didn't know that. Actually.
I've met Mr. Culver's.
Mr. Culver's.
Yeah.
Is that his actual name?
His name's like Greg or something.
Oh,
nice
Greg.
guy.
I think there's a Greg we got to get on the show at some point. Maybe not that Greg, but if you know a Greg,
dude,
one of you knows a Greg.
I think I know.
Yeah.
I think I know.
You know the Greg I'm talking about.
I know the Greg we're talking about.
You got to get Big Daddy Greg in here.
And his hog. Big Daddy Greg and his Big Daddy hog.
Dads, I mean, there's a lot of like good dads that influence people to play like guitar. So,
dude, I can't wait till Arlo gets older.
Oh, dude,
I should show you this video. I had like my bass down on the floor the other day, and he crawled right up to it, and he was like, "Ooh," and then
just like a real bass player.
He tried standing on it. I was like, no. And then I was like holding it, and I'm like just playing, And then he like crawls over me and he stands up and he's like holding on to it and he's just pushing down on the strings but not hard enough so you can actually like play a note. So it's just
I'm like, dude, that's actually sick.
Right. But then he would go like so I think he'll get there.
Dude, start playing a lot of Rush around him and he'll pick up like Geddy Lee's shit.
Oh, see, I was only gonna play Mambo number 5.
Mambo number 5. All right, I think we found the theme song for the show, and it's gonna be Mambo number 5.
I just love a good mambo.
If I wonder if Lou Bega does cameos.
Dude, is he still alive?
I don't know actually. Hold on.
You find out.
I'm gonna find out really quick if
So
Lou
in the
Bega is still
meantime,
alive. I'm happy to talk and Google at the same time.
Yeah. Do a little Googling.
My last search was Corey Feldman.
Because you're trying to remember how to spell Feldman.
He's a German singer.
Lou is?
I didn't know he was German.
There's no chance.
Lou Bega, German singer.
Really?
He's 48 years old. Still alive.
Wow, what a guy.
Yeah.
Thank God for his contributions to Garfield.
Okay, I don't know about the contributions to Garfield.
Dude, Mambo number 5 was in the Garfield movie.
Okay, I gotta be honest, I haven't seen the Garfield movie. Any of them. So.
I told you how pissed I was about Garfield like a couple weeks ago.
You did.
Right?
And then I had my little full circle, Lorenzo Music, Bill Murray, Garfield, Ghostbusters.
Yeah. You filled it out.
Conspiracy theory wheel.
Because here's the thing. Before we get back to this,
yes.
I've gone so far off track, but this is really important.
That's okay. These derails, we need these.
Yeah, we need this because whoever's just letting Chris Pratt be voices,
yeah,
I think they need to get a fucking thumb in the eye, a couple times.
Yeah, yeah, no,
and tell him either get an actual voice or screw off. Because he was funny in Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
He's great as Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Just fine in the Lego movie because there's no voice to be. Just be yourself. That's fine.
When I picture Chris Pratt doing the voice for the Lego movie, that's what I envision a Lego character sounds like.
Yeah, and it worked.
And he is a real life Lego character.
Straight up,
you're just a bunch of blocks. You're boring. That's it.
He's all right, is whatever.
Stay in your lane, dude.
I don't have true opinions on him besides the fact that I hate that he's voicing Garfield in this new movie.
That's just dumb.
The second I heard it, I got so heated. I was at work.
Yeah.
And I was on break, and I got legitimately pissed off because I was like, "This is bullshit. They're ruining my Garfield."
I still am on a pretty strict Mario boycott. I haven't seen that one.
I won't lie, it's pretty good.
Is it really?
It's pretty good.
Ugh.
I
hate that. I hate when there's someone that you're dude, don't do the voice, and then the movie's actually kind of okay.
If you ignore the fact that he's Mario,
yeah,
and you just focus on Jack Black as Bowser, it's pretty good.
Okay,
it's pretty good.
Maybe
it's
I'll
worth
do it.
watching.
Because that's anytime I rewatch Seven, or anytime I rewatch American Beauty, it's these are really good fucking movies, but God, Kevin Spacey, you're a shitbag,
dude.
So
honestly, yeah, that's I'm gonna be so pissed when I go see Garfield. I'm gonna be angry the whole time. I'm gonna have to go by myself.
You're brave that you're gonna go do that.
I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna put myself through the torture just so I can tell the world how god awful it is that they chose him. And didn't just bring back Lorenzo Music or Bill Murray or a mix.
So your Garfield is like Ben Shapiro's Barbie.
Yeah. And mine's way more important. I'm not worried about my sister's boobs like Ben Shapiro.
Do you know what? I think we just found a clickbaity title, Ben Shapiro's sister's boobs.
Oh man, yeah. I wonder what he's doing these days.
Oh, I don't pay attention.
But I don't either.
He's just a goofball.
He's just a silly little fella doing little dummy things.
Yeah.
But so this really rolls into the next thing. Really, well.
I'm really glad that this is the segue.
So, moving on from Ben Shapiro's sister's boobs, this is very related. What was your first instrument?
Okay, it's not what you think it is. If I had to make people do a guessing game, I don't think they would get it.
No, is it unconventional? Or is it just
it's more conventional now? It's more normalized now than it was before, but it was the mandolin.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna go with what's that fucking thing?
The accordion?
Yeah, that's
like a rusty squeeze box.
Yeah, one of them bad boys.
That's my really bad what is his name? Murray Abraham from Amadeus.
See, I've never.
That movie came out when I was born, so
See,
I don't
all
blame
I care about. I'm still kind of on Bill Murray. I'm not.
So yeah, a rusty squeeze box or an accordion. Yeah, I think that was Weird Al's first instrument.
That makes sense. He stuck with it. He's great.
Dude, I fucking love Weird Al.
I'd kiss him.
But yeah, it was a mandolin, and I think my parents got it for me because they saw that I was showing an interest in wanting to play music. And they were like, okay, he likes Rage, he likes Metallica, he likes Bush, he likes, all these post grunge bands and shit like that. I was really into Pearl Jam at the time too.
Hell yeah.
And but let's get him a mandolin.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So
that they're like,
which is funny because it's
Mandolin.
not tuned the same. It's not like
no, yeah,
it's like oh god, I'm gonna butcher this, so I apologize to any mandolin viewers and listeners. It's like G D A E or something like that. It's like just reversed for like a bass, I think.
That's so weird.
And so everything that I try to like learn, like my first, I mean, it's Smoke on the Water. Everyone's first like, riff is Smoke on the Water. If you can get past that, then maybe you can like graduate to AC/DC
if you're lucky,
which is what I did. So
on the mandolin.
No, actually, it was Smoke on the Water and the mandolin the entire time, and like, I don't have a mandolin, but Amanda does. So
can you still play it?
I haven't in a while.
Okay.
I think she's got it in a case, and we just haven't opened it up because we're still like, even though we've bought this house like, and we've had it for a while, it's still like
unpacking kind of.
Yeah, we're still like in the unpacking phase.
No, I get that. Like we've lived where we are for like a year and a half, and I swear it still feels like we're unpacking. Yeah. Like every day I'm like, oh damn, I forgot we had that.
Yeah, right. So yeah, if the mandolin's there, I have a ukulele though. I've got like a shit ton of guitars. But yeah, it was a mandolin, and I think, having started there and then graduated right to an electric guitar, because like my parents got me the mandolin, I didn't really play a lot, and then I think my grandma just took the gamble, and I don't know who she went in on it with, or if it was just straight, her.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting like a Yamaha 303. It was called, it's like a Yamaha EG303 is like the model number, and it came with like an amp, like cable. So it was like
one of those like
it's a combo pack, yeah. And so she ran the gamble, and I still have that guitar. So
really,
it still has the Rob Zombie sticker, the Power Man 5000 sticker, the Rage Against the Machine sticker. God, what else? I think there's a Deftones sticker on there somewhere.
Dude, everything comes back to Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Dude, that dude's sick.
Rob Zombie and Rob Thomas, never seen him in the same room.
That's fair. That's actually very fair.
Same person.
Jeez. But yeah, he was Rob Zombie's, I think, my second concert I ever went to, actually.
That's crazy.
So that was straight from a mandolin to Rob Zombie.
That's a pretty like crazy dive.
Yeah, I mean it explains like why I am the way I am, and then like I know I mentioned this in the first episode, but Beck being the first CD I ever bought, like Odelay was one of the like weirdest fucking albums. Like
right.
you go listen to it right now, and it's fucking weird, but it somehow makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think Beck is as popular as he used to be like in the 90s, but I mean his influence is still there, so I don't think a lot of people follow his whole Scientology thing either.
Yeah,
I don't, but I do. I like the guy's riffs. So
yeah, I mean, hey, you got riffs.
They're catchy as fuck.
That's life.
So
life is riffs.
Yeah. Started on mandolin and
then dove right to guitar. And
yeah.
Did you ever like
right to
toy
guitar
with anything else, or was it just kind of that?
Piano. I got a small little keyboard at one point, and just dicked around on that for a little while, and then lost interest really shortly after, and then I actually took drum lessons. It wasn't maybe 2 or 3 drum lessons.
Okay.
And I'm being generous
brief.
when I say 2 or 3. That's being generous. It could have easily just been 1.
Oh, okay.
This guy
short-lived.
This guy I graduated high school with. His name's Harley.
Bart Harley Jarvis.
Harley Troutland, actually.
Oh, I was close.
Close, but not.
No, it was the same name.
But yeah, he actually probably one of the best drummers I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Actually, like he's done a lot of really good local music in Bremerton. he started a band with the singer for MXPX,
Dang.
and they released some music. Oh God, what were they called? Tumble Down. Yeah, Tumble
Okay.
Down. It was like rockabilly, punkabilly,
That's kind of cool.
kind of like stuff. So
I can get behind that.
it was really great, crazy because like one day I'm working on Hot Topic, and God, Hot Topic used to have this like little music explore thing called Shockwave. Was it Shockwave or Shockhound? It was Shockhound, and they were like, "Oh, check out this new band, Tumble Down," and I'm like, "Oh, dude, it's Mike from MXPX," and I click on it, and I see the drummer. I'm like, I graduated with that dude.
That's so crazy.
Are you serious? And I'm sitting there like in Wisconsin going, I know that dude. You know?
You wouldn't believe it, but I know that guy.
Yeah. So I mean, and he's gone on to. I think he's a dad now. He's just a really, really, really awesome dude.
Nice.
But I mean, I haven't been following up with like any like music projects. I think he's just jamming with random people at this point. But I mean, they couldn't ask for probably a sicker drummer in the
That's
area,
cool.
So
Obviously, you mentioned you have a lot of guitars.
oh God.
You got a lot of gear things.
Yeah.
I know you got pedals. I know you got amps. But you got a lot of guitars. He said, when we were talking about this a few days ago,
Yeah.
33? Right?
I didn't do an official count, but I think I just
Somewhere in that
I
range?
think I just passed the 30 mark.
Okay.
So of just guitars.
That's
So,
crazy.
Yeah. I don't think that does not include the signature, or sorry, that doesn't include the Billie Eilish signature ukulele.
Whoa. Hold
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I have the Billie Eilish signature ukulele.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a thing. It's got Fishman pickups in it,
What the fuck?
and it's got a built-in tuner. And it sounds so funny to say that, like, you know, oh, she's got her own signature ukulele, but like I've played other ukuleles before. Shit goes out of tune. This is the only ukulele I've ever played where like it stays in tune. Like,
That's crazy.
It's nuts. So
Is it like a Fender thing?
it's a
or-
Fender.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I should have mentioned that. It's a Fender. Obviously 4 strings. But it sounds so good.
You're gonna have to show me this one.
I'm gonna show it to you, and I'll bring it on sometime
Yeah.
if I want to. But like it, so it's acoustic electric, so I can plug it in and I can make it do delay shit if I want to. Have I tried to jam with it? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have tried to jam with it.
I was waiting for that. I was like, please tell me you did.
The Billie Eilish signature Fender ukulele does indeed gent.
That's incredible.
So,
Oh man, we're gonna run it through my setup for Sprit Then.
dude, okay, yeah, you
The
can borrow it.
HM2 setup.
Oh, holy shit! Yeah, so I've got that, and I will die on the hill that it is, just a top-notch ukulele.
That's sick.
So yeah,
So then I remember one time I was over. This was like when you first moved. You had one of the guys from Periphery had like a signature pedal or something.
okay, yeah, it's the Horizon Devices.
That's right.
Precision Drive.
I was because you kind of collect pedals and stuff
I do.
too, right?
I do.
You got a bit of a plethora.
I've got a collection or two.
Like, jeez, how many pedals would you assume you have right now?
Not as many as I used to.
Okay.
Because I've been drifting more into the plug-in kind of like side of things because it's just easier, but there's ones that like I just can't get rid of because they're just so gnarly and cool.
No, that's fair.
And one of them is the Precision Drive. Even though I have the digital version of it too. So yeah, Misha had a tone pack with Joey Sturgis, I think it
Okay.
is, and so and he doesn't have it anymore, which is kind of weird because I wanted the presets. Like I don't have any of the presets, but yeah, the Precision Drive was a part of that, and God, it was like $40 for the plug-in
Jeez.
or something like that. So it was like $40 for the digital version of the pedal. I'll take it.
Yeah, like why not?
Yeah. And I have. Do I have 2 physical versions of it?
I would say because wasn't there like a special edition or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of them is I can actually plug this into an amp and use it, and if it gets beat around, I'm okay with it.
Right.
And the other one is still in the packaging and has never been opened. It's the Japanese edition.
That's okay. That's what it was.
Silver, red, and all of the tone knobs are in Japanese. So
That's so cool.
it's funny because like I follow Misha obviously on like every platform.
Right.
And he posted, I think on Facebook one time, because he's a big car dude. He posted like, "What's everyone's favorite car?" And I looked at the timestamp and I was like, "Oh shit, this has been up for 5 minutes. If I comment now, he's going to be able to see it."
Right.
I literally ran to my living room. I grabbed the pedal. I took a picture of it, and I didn't make any like caption. I just sent a picture of that, and then like, "This is my favorite car. It's this pedal." And he goes, "This is the right answer." So like,
That's a good car.
I've got a couple like good Misha stories, and that was probably like, that's in the top 5.
That's so funny.
So yeah,
Dude, pedals are fun. I just recently got a new pedal.
nice.
I bought the signature pedal from Will Putney and End with God, I'm so bad with names. Kurt Ballou
Oh, dude.
from Converge and God City Music. They must have been working on it for a while.
Yeah.
But it's the Pariah pedal.
Oh, dude.
So like it's not an HM2 or anything, because like I was using a Swollen Pickle right before I got this, because the Swollen Pickle sounds sick when you mix it with a tube screamer and stuff. And
Yeah.
I saw they were putting that out, and I went, yeah, I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
Like normally I'm not like a buy signature things kind of a guy, but I saw that and I went, yeah, I gotta
kinda
get
need
it.
that.
I was like, I kind of need that. And
Yeah, because you sent me like some.
I think I sent you a little riff
You
with
sent
it.
me a riff, and it sounds just gnarly.
Dude, it sounds crazy. Because I was able to run my setup, like my real rig, because the amp that I have, that Randall head,
Yeah.
has a DI
Oh,
out,
dude.
like a direct out on the back of it. So I can just run that into my interface, and then
No
just
shit.
on here I just use a from ML Sound Labs, their Miko player,
I'm so
just the
behind.
free one. I just use that.
I'm so behind. Like,
Dude, it sounds awesome. It sounds really good. I just run
Wow.
into my pedal board, into the head into the interface, and then use the ML Sound Labs Miko player, and it sounds like my real deal
that's it.
without using my cab and annoying everyone in my apartment
Oh
building.
my god. Yeah, that's why I had to get headphones, because and that's why I've been switching over to plugins, because I don't have to bother Amanda anymore when she's like
Yeah.
watching crime stories or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that, and I've got an orange combo in the basement that I could like just toy around with and dial in and whatnot. But God, those oranges, like they're sick, but they're loud as fuck.
Dude, they're loud.
So
Years ago I had the
I mean, anyone that has an orange,
Dark
played through an
Mini.
orange knows that. So.
yeah, they're just loud no matter what.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you have with them. It's just loud.
And quality. So.
Yeah, I had that like Dark Mini and it was sick. But then I was like, no, more watts. And then I came across that PRS.
Yeah, there's like a meme going around like I don't have a lot of like, I used to have a 4x12. I sold a lot of my 4x12s because I think I had like 2 or 3 at some point. One that just stayed in the practice space, one that stayed at home, or maybe 2 that stayed at home, because I was like, oh dude, full stack, like I'm legit now, you know.
Oh.
Until you got to pack that shit upstairs.
Yeah, and then
Or
you're
you
like, "Nah, I hate this.
or load it into a van. It's like, nah, I hate my life now.
No, yeah.
So that's why I'm just combo amp all the way. Like,
I went from 412 to 212 to 412.
yeah, I got.
And now I want to add a 212 onto the 412.
Yeah, I got 2 412s right now, which is one's an orange and the other one is a PV.
Okay.
I think it's a Viper. I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've had this Marshall one for a long time now.
damn.
And I got just a stupid deal on it. Just ridiculous. Should not have been as cheap as it was. And it's killer. It sounds awesome. And it looks sick.
Was that from our favorite pawn store? That
Yeah, it was. Shout out Adrian.
Yeah, well, Adrian, we love you for
You're just a real one. You were
being
hooking it up.
our gateway to
To deals.
To deals.
To deals all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, that thing's crazy. So we've both gone through a fair amount of gear over the
Yeah,
years.
no.
I mean, I've used so many different amps and like modelers and plugins and pedals and this and that and guitars and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I have a Bad Monkey that I can list for like $5,000 right
dude.
now.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
No, I'm not actually
Here,
gonna list it
$5,000 real quick. I got
It's
you.
really funny because like when I saw that go down, like I saw those articles, and the guy that was like, "Oh yeah, this is basically just a clone."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait, I have this fucking pedal,"
like just sitting here.
and I texted Cody immediately, going, "Dude, did you just see this article? And he just says back like, LOL.
Because he has one too.
Yeah, he's the reason I bought one.
He's the reason I almost bought one.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't find one.
Because like he came with us when back in American Zero days to a show, and he was like looking at what I have, because I was running off of like a PV half stack just into a TS 808.
Okay.
And that was it. I just cranked the gain on everything, and I was like, I don't care if this sounds like shit. I'm just going to run it, you know?
Right, just let it go.
Some kid at the show was just like, "That's all you have? That's sick." And I was like, that's all I need. I don't want to like break anything else I have at home, because I like the collecting shit. And so Cody was like, "Oh, dude, you love like tube screamers and you love like overdrives." I was like, "Yeah, I do." He goes, "Dude, get a Bad Monkey." And I was like, okay.
I can see the interaction between you two right now, and that's so funny.
Yeah. And so like I go onto our local one of our local guitar shops websites daily. I check it out always at 6 p.m. because that's when they close, and I just like scroll through what their new inventory is.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, like, oh shit, there's a Bad Monkey for sale. It was like $30. So I went down to the shop and I bought it, and I used it a couple times. I'm like, oh yeah, this does sound really good, and it just sits on my shelf. And then all of a sudden, there's an article saying that like people are flipping them for like
crazy money, stupid.
because one dude, a big pedal influencer, says that like, oh, this is like a clone.
Oh my god.
So
yeah, well,
I never tried it.
This notebook in front of me is worth a lot of money.
It is now.
It's got paper.
Dude, whatever you want to put value on something, that's what it is.
I've determined.
I know people that have
$25,000.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So,
that's a deal if you ask me.
That's something that Andrew Tate will never have.
Dude, he'll never have paper. They don't let you have that.
It's not alpha enough.
You're kind of a bitch if you use paper.
Yeah.
So speaking of paper being a bitch, so we've kind of talked about musical influences and stuff, and like first song, things like that. What's your repeat songs right now?
Oh my god.
What do you keep jumping back into?
If you had asked me, like a month, 2 months ago, it would have been, this is a controversial thing because people love them or they hate them. It would have been Sleep Token, because that's been on my player since.
Honestly, that was like top of your Spotify Wrapped.
Oh my god.
Right?
So, funny story. My Spotify Wrapped is shared between me and Amanda, because like I bought the like put two people on your account thing.
Yeah.
So she listens to Sleep Token when she goes to work. I listen to Sleep Token when I go into work, and when we leave work, it's the Sleep Token. When I'm working, it's Sleep Token. So I'm just like musically, audibly obsessed right now. Like, so the one song is "Take Me Back to Eden." Like that's the title track from the album.
Okay.
I can't stop listening to it, but recently, God, what has it been recently? I feel like I've let that. I don't want to like make a song too oversaturated where I become sick of it.
Right, you don't want to like ruin it.
I did that with Icarus Lives with Periphery.
Yeah.
Like I played when I first heard Periphery, I played Icarus Lives. Oh god, that would have been the only thing on my Spotify Wrapped if it existed at the time.
That's crazy.
Because I played that so.
It was just like an all day, every day.
Like Ethan will tell you, like, dude, you gotta stop listening to just that song. You gotta like expand a little bit. Like Race Car exists.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
There's more than one song on this album, dude. So, but yeah, God, recently it's just been podcasts. You know, like
that's kind of the main thing for me too. I mean, like we talked about like some of my repeat stuff, but I find myself like playing more podcasts on the way to work.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
Yeah,
and then. Like if I'm working on something at home, I'm listening to some kind of podcast.
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. That's one of them. And then the Garza podcasts. God, what's the other one? There's another really good one that I've been listening to.
You were listening to Cinefine, right?
Yeah, Cinefix. That's what
Or
it is.
Cinefix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cinefix.
yeah,
Like, because they're doing their top 100 movies, and they're slowly getting them out. And I don't think they're going to be done for another 2 years.
That's
at
crazy.
the pace that they're going.
That's crazy.
Like I can release my top 100 movies like pretty quick actually. So,
dude, I don't think I've even seen 100 movies. I'm bad about watching things.
Yeah.
I'm really bad.
But if it's not Take Me Back to Eden with Sleep Token, it's Ego Death from Polyphia with Steve Vai.
That song's crazy.
Because my mom got me into Joe Satriani and Steve Vai when I was a kid.
Okay.
She was always like the, I wouldn't, not that Joe Satriani or Steve Vai are darker musicians, but she was always like the heavy metal mom, and was like, she's the reason I know who Slayer is.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna try and count how many times we can say Slayer.
Dude, we brought up Slayer a few times.
So, but you know, she appreciates guitar work, and she appreciates like musicianship, and so, I remember when Polyphia released Ego Death, I immediately like sent it to my mom because I was like, here's the new generation meeting up with the old generation.
Yeah, like
we can coexist.
You know, it's just like what Power Man 5000 said. This is what it's like when worlds collide.
I thought you were going to say, oh shit, this kid can play our riffs. No, I actually have an embarrassing story about Power Man 5000 if you want to get to that at some point too.
We're going to get to that because that sounds like something I need.
Oh my God, you just unlocked a really deep core memory, and it's bad. Like, I feel so embarrassed about it.
We're going to go to that because that's, I got to know.
Remind me when we cross that path. Because,
okay.
But yeah, Ego Death, Polyphia, Steve Vai, I constantly have that on repeat too. I've got a lot of like early Deftones stuff, like anything off of Around the Fur is on constant repeat. It's the title track, Around the Fur. That's why I took those drum lessons with Harley, was because that intro, like drum track, is nuts. It's so simple, but it sounds so complicated at the same time. Like, I love it.
So, I guess it goes back to influence stuff. But did you get a lot of your like music tastes from your mom then?
I would contribute my mom and my friends in elementary to high school for like most of my music taste.
Okay.
My dad had a pretty decent. He was more like the rock pop kind of person.
Okay.
Like,
so he was a little.
So my mom would be like, "Oh, I want to go listen to like Jane's Addiction." You know? Like she'll listen to like Jane's Addiction, but my dad's like, "But I want to listen to In Excess." Okay. So
you got a little bit of both worlds.
A little confused.
Yeah, you went back and forth.
A little back and forth. So like, and then like, I know that U2 exists because of my dad, you know, and then I know that Slayer exists because of my mom, and I think my mom and dad both had mutual ground with Metallica, you know. Okay. So they took me to Metallica in 1997, 98.
That's cool.
Something like that. So I got to see Newstead, Metallica. Not Cliff, but it's Newstead.
I mean, hey, you still...
Newstead's sick.
Yeah.
So, but then I move in with my grandma, and she's all Western music. Okay,
so very, like... far out from what you were.
And then my aunt lives 2 houses away from my grandma, and then when grandma was taking a nap and I just needed some like, you know, adult supervision or interactions or something like that, I'd go visit with her, and she's listening to like Seal, you know.
So you were really all over the board.
Like it's always been that way, and I that's probably why I kind of like Sleep Token, is like it's fucking everywhere. So,
I mean, it makes sense. Like it explains you.
Yeah, and that's why I like Beck's. Yeah, Beck's, the beer. Yeah.
I like the Beck's.
I like the Beck's.
I like the Beck's.
That's something I always wanted to talk about at some point too. Is like those cringy coworkers that like, oh yeah, I listen to some heavy metal. I like the Deftones, or you know.
Oh yeah, I like the Slipknots.
I like the Korn.
And I ain't talking about the vegetable.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Yeah, you do.
Yeah. You love the Korn.
I like the Rush.
I too am a fan of the Black Sabbath.
Yeah. The Black Sabbath, which is one of my favorite emo bands. Screamo bands, sorry. Screamo.
Yeah, some of that scream rock.
Screamo music is just whatever you want it to be at this point.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you got Five Finger Death Punch doing a Screamo.
Absolute Screamo.
You've got, I don't know, I don't think there's any other band on earth. I think it's just Five
Tim
Finger
McGraw
Death
is
Punch.
Screamo.
Dude.
Alan Jackson is Screamo. Blind Equation is Screamo.
Dude, oh, you mean Cyber?
Cyber Screamo.
Would you consider it to be real?
Real Screamo.
Real Screamo music.
Real Screamo music.
Real blind.
Real blind. What the fuck? Oh, dude, I was trying to see how long it could go.
Dude, it's the Jim McHenrys in the equation.
The Limp Biscuits. Dude, okay, by the way, I'm glad that those words cross paths.
Limp Bizkit?
Like in James McHenry.
Oh, yeah.
Because like when I think of visual artists, James McHenry is this century's Wes Borland.
Dude, honestly, yeah.
Like
I agree.
Like that dude is probably like one of the most creative geniuses.
Yeah, for anyone who isn't aware of James McHenry, he's the mastermind behind Blind Equation. He plays in one of my favorite straight edge hardcore bands, Prevention, and I think they still do stuff, but he plays in the deathcore band Portals.
I love Portals.
So I don't know if they still do a whole lot, but I'm gonna still throw it out there.
I don't know if it's a lot, but man, I mean it doesn't have to be. Like,
no, they're just sick.
I'll take quality over quantity. So.
Honestly, yeah. James McHenry does a little bit of everything.
I was on tour with those guys when Nick Rung did a run.
It was like right before lockdown.
Was it? Yeah, it was Neck Wrong. Yeah, it was, dude. Okay,
it was literally like the week.
Days. Like,
yeah,
like as soon as we got back, I have all this footage on my GoPro. I have all this footage on my phone, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna do like a tour recap and shit like that, and then everything shut down.
And then that was it. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like that kind of was like deflating because the job I worked at the time, it was a cleaning company, so we had to like disinfect and sanitize so much shit.
Oh yeah,
literal too sometimes. That I'm probably still technically in overtime from that. Like everyone's getting time off like from their jobs, and I'm like I don't
working
get time off
twice as much.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to do any like tour updates or anything like that. So or recaps. Or
lost
whatever.
footage.
It's still there. I still have
it.
I still have it. I just haven't had the time or the equipment because like
that's fair.
The computer I'm working on isn't great for editing videos unless I clear out some of my like cache and some of my,
make some room.
Yeah, I gotta find time to do all that. But
well, thank God we work where we work.
I still have that. I still think that like my favorite thing that I from that tour recap was James has a setting on his floor. Oh my God!
He has like the pod.
Yeah, it's like the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's got a setting on there called Bush did 420.
No.
And it's just one of the funniest like close-ups I ever did when I was like doing the shot.
I love that.
But yeah, so going back to him and Wes Borland, I want to meet Wes Borland someday.
You know. There's a chance we may have. We've never seen Wes or James in the same room together.
They probably are the same.
Another crazy situation.
Yeah. Oh, what a good time.
I love James. He's great. We'll get him on.
We'll get you on here at some point.
Yeah,
buddy.
We'll steal you. We'll steal your skin. So before we go into some of the next things, we gotta talk about the bands you've been in, and we don't have to go crazy far back if you don't want to.
Oh, I'll go crazy far back.
All right, well, I'll go wherever you want to go.
Yeah. So
like, I mean, you've done plenty of bands.
I'll start right out of high school. Oh my God, this is gonna get real cringy really, really fast.
Okay.
So I'm gonna spare you the band names we came up with. I don't know if that's whatever.
Yeah, that thing.
I just saw it in the corner of my face. Sorry. I'll spare you some of the cringy names that we were trying to come up with before we settled on what we not currently, sorry, but what we've settled on. It was called Something Yet Nothing, which is probably the worst new metal band name that you can.
I was gonna say I figured it had to be in that realm.
It was bad, but like we try to like new metalify it, where it's like we're gonna put it in parentheses and like we're gonna make like the middle of it because like it's somewhat of a symmetrical word that
Right.
the Y can be capitalized, but nothing else is capitalized.
Okay.
So it's like
I see where you're going.
So it's parentheses something et nothing and parentheses.
Okay.
It was awkward.
I can see that like the gears were turning.
So that was like our vocalist's idea.
Okay.
No, sorry, I got that backwards. I came up with the Something Yet Nothing because he wanted to call the band Sin, and I thought that was too bland and too like boring. So, which was also the same thing, just
so I see where you got it. Yeah.
Parentheses S Y N and parentheses.
Okay.
So, and I was like, I kind of feel like, even when I was like 16, 17, like I was like, I want to be able to appeal to more people.
Right, and that's kind of
So,
like hard to get.
Yeah, and especially with like, you got like parents in the area like, oh, I'm not going to let my kids play in a band called Sin and whatever.
Yeah, those silly things like that.
And so I gave it the twist with, oh, let's just call it Something Yet Nothing, and then if we want to shorten it, we can do that. So that, we only played 2 shows, and one was our Battle of the Bands at our high school.
Okay.
And man, people got pissed at that show.
Really?
Like, we used to have this thing, and I don't think the website exists anymore. If it does, it'd be hilarious. But there was a website called kitsapbands.com, and it would be the equivalent of like lacrosse music scene Facebook page.
Yeah.
Where like anyone can go on there and like, make comments about
whatever.
this or whatever. Like, hey, I'm looking for a drummer. Hey, I'm looking for a guitar player. We're looking for a venue. Like, what can you, point us in the right direction? That's basically what it was.
Okay.
And there was a lot of like refreshing the page for like, the new forums that would pop up. Well, it was our band and then like a bigger local band, which is Harley's band, the one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like by all means, they definitely like deserve like top billing. Because they're just fucking good.
Dude, fuck being a headliner.
They're just yeah, that's right. Because they're just fucking good. But there were, because like everything was based off of votes. Like you had to vote for your favorite band.
Oh, so it was like a battle of the bands kind of a thing?
Yeah, it was battle of bands, and like you had to vote for these bands. And apparently, I can't confirm this, but the editor of the school newspaper who ran part of the show said that we got the most votes.
Oh.
And the winner of the show got like, I think, a day's worth of studio time.
Okay.
And like a gift certificate to the local music shop.
That's cool.
And which was really cool. But we got like, from what I've been told, we got the most votes. But the other band still won. And I don't care,
Right,
like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter to me anymore, but like I think if rumors are true, she quit her position at the newspaper shortly after that because the person running the Battle of the Bands was trying to tell the other band, oh, you can play, but you're going to win, because they wanted like a big name to draw people in.
Right.
But we got the most votes, and they kind of contradicted like what they said.
That's kind of funny.
I don't care. Like if that's
that means
what
you
it
actually
is.
won music.
I think so.
Yeah, you defeated the music boss.
defeat the music boss.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's probably silly even bringing it up, and everything is literally just he said, she said at this point. So
right. I mean, this is a while now.
Fucking high school. It's just
actually.
but because of that, like the forum page on the Kids at Bands just blew up. Like, oh, these guys have 2 bass players, and like the only one that knows what they're doing is the guitar player. Like, couldn't understand the singer, and like. God. Like the drummer was good, and like he and the guitar player are the only ones that like knew what they were doing. And I'm like, dude, we had a a bass player who like studied fucking theory, and like that dude could like kick so like I equivalent him to like the bass player for Mudvayne.
Dang. Okay.
Like, dude knows his shit. Like, he's a legitimately like awesome bass player. And like,
hell yeah.
the other person, the other bass player, was dating our vocalist at the time. So
I like that you had 2 bass players.
Yeah. So that story.
Like, I was gonna say, we can't skip over that. We can't gloss over the dual bass player.
The 2 bass players thing. Let's talk about that for a second. I think part of it was just because like I started a band and I went through a couple of different member changes. Some people got salty about it. Other people were like, "Oh, dude, I actually didn't want to play anyways. I'm cool with that." And we kind of swapped people around and finally settled with like our core friends that we had.
Right.
So, I only talked to one of the dudes. I actually just talked to him I think yesterday.
Okay.
He was our drummer. His name's Chris, and that dude's so cool. Like he's who I think I would turn into if I stayed in Washington. Actually,
Okay.
Like I like the Seattle Kraken, the hockey team.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a hockey guy.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So I'd actually like to go to a hockey game with that dude if opportunity presents itself in the future. So
All right.
but Chris is legit. I don't really talk to the other dudes anymore, and I definitely but yeah, I don't really talk to like the other people. I think they both got their own lives. One dude I don't think has any social media at
He's
all,
like off the grid.
which is fine. So
Good for him.
One of probably the best artists I've ever known in my life. Like the dude did a painting out of not painting I guess, but like he points
Oh, okay.
like did an
Like
entire,
a dot art.
Yeah, oh my god. Like I don't know the exact name for it, but like the dot art was massive and it looked so freaking real. Like yeah, there's one of the best. I actually have a piece of his art still in my kitchen, I think.
Dang.
But and I don't talk to the other bass player, so there's
They're on the ether.
they're on the ether. We'll just say that because I don't want to say anything ill of them because you don't grow that way, I guess.
No, yeah, I get that. I totally get
So
that.
after that fizzled out into existence, we played one other small bar show and that kind of sucked. So
Yeah, that's fair.
it was a bar in Bremerton that no one showed up to.
Oh, even better.
And then I was on a musical hiatus for a while. I still played music. I just didn't
not
do it
with
with
a
a band.
group.
I bought my first 7-string in 2007, I think. About 2006, 2007. So I was learning all of that. And the bands that I had to learn off of were like Korn, Lacuna Coil.
Right.
I don't even think Lacuna Coil. Maybe they did have a 7-string in there, but it just sounded like a 7-string. They just tuned down to a B, maybe, but I don't know.
That could be.
Yeah, but like even like early Limp Bizkit, I was like, oh, Wes Borland plays a 7-string in the early Limp Bizkits CDs.
And the early Limp Bizkits.
And then he's like, the early Limp Bizkits, god damn it. But then he goes and like, no, I'm actually gonna play a 6-string PRS for hot dog flavored water. So
Which is that guy's just wild.
yeah. So I was playing, just kind of learning other different techniques. I had just switched from everything nu metal to my transition from nu metal to like metalcore. Like I think Killswitch Engage was like
That was your transitional
That was
band?
the transitional band. So and I was like, oh shit, this is really heavy. Like this is more adult nu metal.
Yeah, you said
it's not nu metal, but it's more like
There's breakdowns?
yeah. And then it's like, okay, well they're doing the same thing that like Chimera was doing in Pass Out of Existence, so like that's cool. Then I discovered Lamb of God, then I discovered In Flames, then I discovered Children of Bodom, and it's like these guys can play circles around nu metal players, like
Which, like,
yeah.
I love both. Ignore my yawning. I'm an old man.
No, I don't judge your yawning. You're good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm yawning internally,
Internally, I'm putting it out in the world
which
for
is
you.
a medical condition.
Oh yeah, you're actually you got lung AIDS or something. You got AIDS.
Lung AIDS.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Oh my god. So yeah, And then I moved out here, and I went through another like life transitional phase where like I was a casual drinker in Washington State. It wasn't
Also, this
bad.
is pre-Klay being straight edge,
Clay.
obviously.
So obviously, like those are different discussions for different times. But yeah, I used to drink, and I don't anymore.
He's a
And
clean boy.
I'm a clean boy. I've actually, what's funny is I can add this in really quick. I've actually never smoked pot.
Really?
Ever. So, and everyone finds that crazy.
You know, I mean, just knowing you for as long as I have now, like, it doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, like, when you've talked about these things, you just have explicitly talked about, like, how you used to drink. So I just instantly, I was like, oh, he just never dabbled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was just never his thing.
There'll be like stoners out there that are like, oh, he used the word pot. You know,
He said pot bong.
we got pot gatekeepers out here.
Dude, gatekeeping words is crazy.
Yeah, weed, pot, schmingles. I don't know. Whatever you kids call these days.
Mangy jangy.
But yeah, so my little life transitional phase was, just getting sober, and part of that was the local music scene out here. I guess the next band in line for that, without all the crazy details like with the first band, because I'll be here forever, was Miss August.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So, and that was a wild ride too. So
we could almost do an episode just talking about Miss August,
we'll do a Miss August episode,
because it'd be fun to bring like Ethan or like Tommy in.
Dude. Ethan and Danny, those guys, they've got some really awesome stories about while I was still drinking.
Oh, I can only imagine.
And yeah, but anyways, so Miss August was next in line. We played a couple we played a lot of local shows. We did one show with Born of Osiris. No one paid attention to us. I guarantee you, no one gave a shit, and that's fine. Because if you have Cameron Loesch in your band, you got to pay attention to that band.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to that band. Because if he was in Miss August, what would he have done?
What would he have done to make the band better?
Yeah.
Every instrument. He would have just been like, I was not a great guitar player. Like, I actually looked at Ethan as a better guitar player than me. Like, that dude's finger reach is insane. So
he was nailing it for you.
Yeah. I don't think any of us even I'm older. I was way older than those guys too. So I was like, I feel awkward being in that band sometimes because, I was like, are these guys okay with me being as old as I am?
Yeah, is it fine?
And my skill level, I kind of stopped playing music for a while because I was depressed. But I'm glad they're allowing me to do this. But yeah, I think Cameron would have just done every single instrument.
And then just leave Adrian up front.
Yeah. No, that would have been We Paint the Sky.
Wait, I knew that. I get them mixed up sometimes.
Dude, and that's fair because that
that's
friend
why
circle,
I had Tommy mixed up.
That's fair because that friend circle was we shared practice spaces.
That's right.
Yeah. And Tommy would be watching us practice, and then we'd just sit there and We Paint the Sky would show up and start doing their stuff. So
I would say, yeah, it's easy to get those two mixed up because it was obviously the same time frame.
So there was a story about Tommy ended up with a police grade baton.
I've heard about this.
You've heard this story?
Mason told me.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious.
Yeah, Mason was filling me in. He was filling in Tristan and I about this one night in between rat bastard antics.
Dude, it's so great. And so, out of nowhere, this Tommy.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, well, I was just talking to my cousin Taylor about, Tony Alamo, who's a serial killer. Another episode.
Another thing.
But so Tommy has this police grade baton, and then Tyler, who's our drummer at the time, takes it, and Tommy's explaining that oh yeah, this is a police grade baton, they're supposed to be unbreakable. And then Tyler out of nowhere just goes, break shit, and I forget what he knocks it over, but he dents the fucking thing. And then Tommy just has this look on his face All right. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
oh my God,
that's
But then
incredible.
After Miss August, that we got a couple member changes, and then we added some people, and then that turned into American Zero.
Okay.
That got more touring action, and that got more EP and full.
So it
length
went
action.
straight to American Zero. It wasn't. It was. And correct me if I'm wrong. And this is just for me to remember.
Yeah.
Was it Guns in the Ground then American Zero?
Yeah. Okay, I take that back. But it was the same.
It
band.
was the same band. It was
Same band.
That
different
was the name for the
so,
time.
Yeah. Which I mean, I liked the name Guns in the Ground.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of a hard name.
It is, but I think like for the sake of like trying to play like other places, some people wouldn't want us to have the name Guns in the Ground.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
It's silly. Whatever. But then we changed into American Zero shortly after that. So,
Okay, so it was pretty short.
Yeah, we did one show as Guns in the Ground, and then it was an American Zero
That's right.
with just AN in front, and then just cut off the and it was American Zero. So,
And in my opinion, the best version of the band.
I agree.
100%.
I think so too. That was probably like my most active and like happiest part.
And that would have been the time that I was like making my way into the scene.
Yeah.
And discovering like American Zero and In Solace
That's so. And
Rig Time and like.
when you were telling me that story about like how you wanted our EP or wanted our CD or something like that, and you ran up to me and you're like, I think this guy's in this band, and like if I was a jerk, I feel so bad.
No, it's so funny because you weren't a jerk.
Yeah.
You just genuinely were like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I pretty much didn't because like I didn't handle all that social media. Like,
And I figured that out pretty quick. So
Yeah.
To clarify, before we started recording and stuff, we were talking about when I first was like finding American Zero, and I had heard about them, and I was like, oh, this band's sick, and I wanted to buy their CD. So I messaged the Facebook page, and I was like, hey, like, how do I get the CD? I really want to buy one. And I'm assuming it was Jimmy.
Yeah.
It responds, and he was like, oh yeah, like we're gonna be at this show, like we're all gonna be hanging out, like I'll have a copy with just come find us. And I was like, okay, cool. And I show up, and I didn't even give a shit about the show going on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to buy the CD.
Yeah.
And like obviously I stayed for whatever the show was. You guys weren't even playing. But you're all there hanging out, and I see you, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy's in the band. Like I saw their band picture, like I'm pretty sure he's in the band. And I go walking up to you. You're like sitting at the bench by the stairs.
Yeah.
And you were probably talking to the Slies. That besides the point.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, hey man, like I messaged you guys on Facebook, like I wanted to buy the CD, and you're like, oh, I have no idea. Go find Jimmy. And I'm like, what does it look like? Who's that?
Yeah, who's that?
and then you were like, oh, the guy with like the dreads and all the tattoos. And I was like, okay.
That was my fault for assuming that like everyone knows who he is, because like everyone did just knows,
that time, like,
knows who Jimmy is.
Jimmy was a guy that like
Yeah.
you couldn't mistake.
No, for sure. Like, well, dude, the dude does crazy awesome like tattoo work.
Oh yeah,
And,
incredible.
like he's been in like probably like more bands than like most people I know like in the area. So
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that was my like, yeah, just go find him. And I was like, oh shit, this guy doesn't know who Jimmy is. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
I remember I walked outside and I was like, can I talk to that guy? Like I was like, is that allowed?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I mean, I was like 16-year-old kid.
yeah.
And like I don't know.
I was the same way with like everything. Like I had such a hard time approaching anyone with like, who was the? I think I'm trying to think of who the first person I ever approached was with like 100% confidence. Like, hey, dude, awesome, good job. Like I'm trying to think of it because like, right, even like back in Bremerton, going to like watch shows at the Hall, which all 4 of them or something like that. I wanted to like tell the bands like, hey, awesome, but like I was so intimidated because like
I was that way for a long time. I think the band that broke me out, because I wouldn't count In Solace. I think it was Teenagers.
okay,
If you remember Teenagers,
Oh, dude,
but it was
yeah.
when Nick was fronting it, so
Yeah.
he was pretty new to it yet. Because it was Nick, Mark. I can't remember if Zach was playing or not.
maybe,
He might have been. It might have been right after him.
yeah,
But yeah, I remember like being like, dude, that band was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like I wish Teenagers was still a band.
I remember the band. I remember which one it was. It was
Yeah.
Catalepsy. Have you heard or remember Catalepsy?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so I saw their music video in Washington.
Okay.
It was literally the first time I've ever heard deathcore.
Okay.
Was Catalepsy, and that was also like a pivotal change for me musically, because I was like, oh, you're allowed to do this? Okay. So I move out here, and then I realize I see on a poster for the warehouse that Catalepsy is going to be playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to fucking go, because like I just saw this band on MTV2.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, I gotta go see this now. Like,
yeah. And I walk up and like, these are a lot of different members from what I saw in the poster, but that's fine, whatever.
Yeah, like I'll get over it.
And that's when I realized, oh, bands can change members too,
Right.
So, but I think I contacted their guitar player Rob, and I was like, oh, dude, can I like help you guys like carry your shit up and downstairs? And he was like, you want to do that? I'm like, oh, dude, like I love your music, hell yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll help you.
And I ended up partying with them afterwards. So like, I remember waking up and being like, oh God, like Catalepsy is in the living room. And then they ended up being like good friends with us for a while, and then I think they disbanded and some shit happened. But yeah, that was my gateway getting over like fangirling kind of
cool.
like band.
That's a fun band to have that with.
I've fangirled a couple times with people. The shortest interaction was Frankie from Amira.
That's such a crazy
Because this is right after he got electrocuted on stage with his microphone. And I just walked up to him at the Birch booth after, I forgot, it was a show in Minneapolis or something. I just walked up to him. He's the only person there. No one's surrounding him. I was like, hey, dude, that was an awesome show. That was awesome. He was like, yeah, cool. He was probably tired.
Oh, guaranteed.
I don't think he was having an ego. He was just tired. And I was like, I'm not going to bother this guy. I'm going to leave.
I'm going to let it be.
Yeah.
No.
So,
oh, man.
If I had cash, I would have bought a shirt.
Yeah, right.
So
you should have just stole it.
Yeah.
So after, I guess not after American Zero. I feel like we should just touch on it just for the sake of, because we've mentioned the name.
Yeah.
American Zero turned into Delinquent Youth.
Yes, it did.
And then it died.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very
shortly after the name change too.
It was pretty quick. It was I don't think it was even a year.
Yeah, no. God, I can't remember the timeline
because you guys changed the name and then did that tour with In Solace and
we did
Discord
In
Curse.
Solace and oh God, who was the other one? We did In Solace, and I think we went on tour with Discord Curse.
I think it was the same tour, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that would have been around the time that I also met Derek.
Yeah, that's when I met Derek too. Actually. So, yeah, it was shortly after that. We had another couple small shows here and there, but God, I feel so bad because that's when I probably should have quit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like that tour?
No, like at the name change. I was so depressed at that point.
I remember like that not being a welcome thing.
Yeah.
By for sure you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I didn't like the name change, and there was like two people who didn't really care, and then like one other person who was on like board with me, and then one other person that was like, well, we're gonna have to do this anyways.
Right.
So I was like, well, whatever. I'm outvoted. I got this. We got this band name, I guess. So whatever, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't have to dive real deep into it.
No, that's fine.
I mean, because I don't know what things you're like able to talk about. So
no, that's.
I don't want to like.
I'm not gonna say anything shitty.
Right.
Because I mean, everyone kind of went their own paths. And
yeah, I mean, obviously, everyone's doing fine now.
Yeah,
like,
everyone's
on their own.
As far
thing.
as I know, everyone's doing awesome jobs. So.
Right. Because it was. I remember that happening, and then the previous American Zero EP being re-released.
Yes.
Under this, but missing a song.
Yeah.
And I remember being really mad about it.
I was so pissed.
Because it was one of my favorite songs on the EP.
Same. Like
so when I put the original version in the other night, I went, oh man, this is it.
Yeah. And what's okay, so funny story about that is they say that your band has made it if you can find your EP or your merch at Goodwill.
Right.
So like it wasn't Goodwill, but I was scrolling through this like kids Depop shop.
Yeah.
One time, and he's got like a shit ton of CDs, and there's the American Zero logo just like staring right back at me.
That's crazy.
And I was like, he wants $4 shipping, and he wants $4 for the actual thing. fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
I bought my own band's EP back.
That's so funny.
So, and yeah, like that's.
So why did that song get cut? Was there a real reason, or was it just kind of like whatever?
I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask this question, but
Okay.
to my knowledge, it was because there was just not, from my understanding, there wasn't a right flow to it. You know.
I guess,
You
but
know, and that's. It was so weird because
in my head it felt incomplete listening to it without it, and I think that's because I heard it before the name change.
Yeah.
And before you guys like were more in the like public eye.
Yeah.
I mean, because like American Zero like had a following.
Yeah.
But I mean, when this happened under that label and stuff, like obviously it was more seen.
I feel like there was a part of that too. I didn't have a lot of direct communication with like the head of the label.
Right.
That I think that was more like I forget who the main contact was, if it was Greg or Justin, but
Okay.
one of those guys at the label like would contact our main contact, and then it would just kind of be like, oh well, this is what's going to happen, like what do you guys think? And I kind of just went with it instead of like making a huge fuss about it.
I was gonna say, I remember at this point, like any interaction you and I had, you were pretty like over it.
And that's like what I was, like something that I should have, like going back to like me wanting to have quit, like I should have, for my sake and theirs. Like
right.
I was doing shit that I'm sure they weren't comfortable with, and whether it was me just being cranky, like that's my big downfall, is I just get cranky about shit, like
and I mean you were at such a point though, you were so burnt out. I mean like
I get upset and I don't tell people that I'm upset,
right?
And that was probably like I should have probably just been more vocal with them.
Yeah, I get that. I do that.
So, and then when someone says they got a problem with me, I just clam up and say, okay, just unload, and I won't fight back.
Yeah, like you just let it happen.
So, if someone messages me and says, hey, I got a problem with, this thing that you did, I'll be like, oh, okay. Instead of me being like, okay, well, this is bullshit. I'll just be like, all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, and I guess that's how it is.
So I'm not like that anymore.
No, yeah.
and that's why, like, that set me into kind of like a scene depression, really.
Yeah, because that was, I remember you disappeared.
When Delinquent Youth kind of
when that fizzled out.
It kind of was a fizzle. It wasn't like a...
It was a pretty quick way out, and it was quiet.
Yeah, when it wasn't...
It just happened.
Yeah, I didn't have any shitty feelings except towards myself, really. Like,
That's
I was
fair.
like, God, I should have said this. I should have done this, and, I apologize to anyone that was bummed out about it,
I remember being like, damn, this sucks, because like I wanted another record.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I remember you guys were like going to record stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just never
But there were like
happened.
We all had like little like small bumps in the road that were like preventing us. One person was in charge of the van, like another person was in charge of like the gas for the van. Other people weren't in charge of really anything, and
Yeah.
like it wasn't comfortable, and I tried to make it as comfortable as I possibly could.
Right.
But again, I was kind of quiet when I shouldn't have been quiet, and I could have been more fair on certain things, I guess.
That's fair.
So,
yeah, I mean that's reasonable. No, it was. I think like I can speak for the people in my band at least. It was a huge bummer.
Yeah.
But it was like, thank God it died.
Really?
At the time that it died.
Yeah.
And that was purely like, we talked about this earlier, we don't have to talk about it in this way, but
Yeah.
it was like the last show, and I'm sure it wasn't like you guys knew it was going to be the last one. It just kind of ended up being that way.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be the last one, to be honest.
Yeah, I figured that wasn't like the thought process at all. That's just what ended up shaking out. But like, I remember being like, man, I hope that's it. Like, that or something's got to give. And like, I mean, it bummed me out because, I mean, like I've told you before, like that was one of my favorite bands from the area. Like that was the band that inspired a lot of what Misadventures was doing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I still I was going to tell you this the other night, and I wanted to wait till we were talking about it today. But I still find myself like taking little things from those songs,
Yeah.
and like ripping it off.
Dude, okay, so like I remember I asked you about the question about like, do you remember some of your riffs? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like I will every once in a while like cue it up on whether it's YouTube or Spotify. Like, I'll like dust off the old hinges as it will on some of those riffs, and it's like, yeah, that was actually really fun.
Yeah, because like I definitely still pull from some of that. Like, I think you could hear it in some of the new Spread Thin, like for sure.
Oh, I'm so stoked about that stuff.
And I think you'll hear what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's minor, but like you were playing it, so you'll know.
Yeah.
And I 100% still take some of that. And like another podcast, they talk about like, who do you do kind of a thing.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I've thought about that question a lot because I hear it every week when I listen.
Yeah.
100% I was like, oh man, I've just always done Klay. Like, because that was the goal.
What's funny is like most of those riffs aren't my riffs either. So,
and like in terms of like stage presence.
Yeah.
I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Because I shut myself off when I get on stage.
Yeah. Because like I remember like watching you and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And because I had always seen just like they're on the stage, they're doing their thing, and I was like, this guy's like everywhere but the stage.
Yeah.
And if he's on stage, he's like fucking flying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just
I have to
doing
make
whatever.
it interesting if the stage is there. So.
Yeah. And I just remember like that is what I wanted us to do.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is crazy. Like, that gets your attention.
Yeah.
And like how sick it was that like the first time Misadventures played, that like all of American Zero was there.
Yeah.
And like watching, I was like, oh, cool, all right.
That's I love that too. By the way,
Yeah.
I saw you get off stage. I was like, oh, dude, yes.
Like I remember
Finally,
that,
there's
like,
someone
fondly.
that gets it.
Yeah, like I remember that so fondly because like I don't know, it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, like that's fucking cool. Like, because then it was shortly after that, like I discovered the Chariot and Let Live and like all those bands and like Dillinger and then I was like, oh, okay, I see where he gets it from.
And see that comes from I think the first time I saw like just that wild like shit on stage was like Korn and Deftones.
Yeah.
And then it was Let Live. I discovered the Chariot way later than I should have.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And then I was like, it was another one of those, oh, you can do that too, you know?
Yeah, because that was such an inspiration. Like it didn't show as much in the music at that time.
Yeah.
But in like what we were doing on stage, I was just like, man, I want to be that.
I forget who said this, and I don't know if even, I wish I could draw back the exact quote, so I'm probably going to butcher it, but something along the lines of like, there's a difference between playing a show and performing a show.
Yeah, like you're putting
I
it
was
on.
performing the show.
Yeah, 100%. Like the music obviously was fucking awesome. Like love it all. Still listen to it regularly.
Yeah.
But what made it was like what you were doing, and then obviously all the other guys fed off of it.
Yeah.
Like you would watch all the others do the same, like start kind of like flowing the same way, and I'm like, that's what we got to do. And like I still have that like mindset when we do Spread Thin shows, or like even when we were doing Caught One shows, I was like, I got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be that. And now even like musically, I'm like, yeah, I definitely like pull from some of the last American Zero record, because like that has some of my favorite riffs. And
yeah, those are good riffs though,
dude. They are like he was a genius. Like, let's be real. Like Jimmy fucking rocked that writing music.
1000%.
Like there's a reason those songs still fucking hold up and sound awesome. Like 10 years later,
1000% of that credit to Jimmy. So
like, dude, he wrote crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And dude, like, I don't know.
Some of the stuff that like no one will ever hear, like when you would sit in his living room, that like he just would hit spacebar, and like, it's just so crazy good.
Yeah.
And I felt, another part of me like, fuck, I feel intimidated again,
Dude, yeah, he was just so good at it. Like, I wish he was still making music like that. Like, he was just good. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So obviously you did touring stuff with American Zero, Delinquent Youth.
Yes.
So I gotta know, since we talked about mine.
A spicy question?
Best place.
Oh,
and then
God.
worst place.
Okay. Best place. And this is purely for being selfish on myself. It has almost zero to do with like a show, but Austin, Texas.
Okay.
I don't even think we played a show. I think we just stopped to sleep there. But they have this restaurant called Arlo's. Funny enough.
My child.
Yeah. They have this restaurant called Arlo's. It's just a vegan food truck, and it's some of the most amazing food
That's
I've
cool.
ever had. We had 3 stops in Texas, I think. One was in Big Springs. God, did we play in Austin?
I feel like you guys did.
Oh, there was.
I'll find it quick.
Yeah, no, there was. Yeah, like I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just remember selfishly for the food was Austin, Texas. That's my favorite place to have gone. Oh God, my least favorite, Cupertino, California.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was no one there. Like there was another one. There was another venue in Texas that like no one showed up for.
I'm not looking it up now.
No, that's fine. You
Lost
know
my
that.
phone.
We can just reference it later if we need to. So, but yeah, best place. I will always remember Austin, Texas, whether we played there or not. I couldn't tell you. I kind of forgot a lot of that.
That's totally fair.
But yeah, Cupertino sucked. Like,
Just wasn't it.
no. Small, like in the middle, like in between those, the best and worst, was Minneapolis.
Yeah.
God, where did we play? It wasn't the Myth. What's the one that's like up a flight of stairs?
Skyway.
Skyway. That's what it was. We played Skyway.
Really?
And this dude that I know, Adam, like, he was like, "Oh, we're looking for another band." So I messaged him and said, "Yeah, I've got a band. Like, it's a big metal gent show." And we were 1000% like the black sheep on that bill.
Because that was not American Zero.
We made 0 cents on that bill. And I remember it was such a great show to play. Like, everything sounded awesome. I ended up falling and breaking some poor girl's phone on the merch table because we played with another band called Truth Inside the Silence.
Okay.
And I ended up breaking one of their girlfriend's phones because she was at the merch table and her phone was on top, and I accidentally shattered it. So, I remember being like, "Oh, dude, I'm just having a blast," and everything sounds really good. And this one dude, like, I don't think he's ever gonna see this, but this one big hairy metal dude just like grabs me by the collar, and I'm still playing. I'm in the middle of a song, grabs me by the collar, and he's like shouting at me, "The stage is up there! The stage is up there!"
No.
And I'm like on the other side of the venue, and I didn't hear what he was saying at first, so I was just smiling and nodding at him, like while I'm like headbanging. And after he let me go, I was like, "Oh, that dude's pissed." Like,
That dude's pissed.
that dude's pissed that like I'm like doing like all this like wacky shit off the stage. He's probably pissed that it's not like quote unquote metal music, But then was that it?
No. Well, I think, no, it's not that tour. You guys were just in Ohio.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that too.
I'm trying to like find the actual flyer for the tour. Oh, you guys played with Sabella?
Oh, we were supposed to.
Oh
that
man,
was-
that would have been a crazy show.
Yeah, we were supposed to, but our van broke down. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Like in the middle of fucking Indiana. Like,
Here we go. I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Big Spring.
Big Spring,
You
that
did
was-
play in Austin.
Oh, we did. What the fuck was?
So you
Oh,
must
I
have gotten off
remember.
the,
Okay, I remember now.
Because this is when you saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
I remember now. Yep. Okay, so, Big Spring, Texas. I sound check. My guitar's working just fine. As soon as we play the first note of Omen, my shit cuts out.
No.
It doesn't work. So like, I play the entire like first song just a cappella. Nothing is fucking working. So and I remember the Texas Mist one at Austin. That was oh god, was that upstairs or? Oh my god, No, okay, I do remember. That show was actually really cool because one of the locals was really, really heavy. And God, I can't remember their name for the life of me. Yeah, that was part of that was filmed.
I was gonna say that was from that tour, because Derek was filming.
Yep. Actually, it was a combination. Derek and Jimmy and Cody actually. So
Okay.
I think they all decided to contribute part of their stuff.
I was gonna say I watched this video religiously.
I show the video to some people and they're like, "Oh, I got such a headache," and I'm like, "It's not your style, so it's fine."
I remember. Okay, no one can see it right now. But Lucas, you holding Lucas.
Me and Lucas on that tour, unstoppable.
Yeah,
like
a force to be reckoned with.
Between me, Lucas, and Gage, we had such a blast. Oh, and Derek too, obviously. Like, there's a picture that like Derek will share like every time it comes up. It's me, Derek, and Gage all just like hugging each other in one big like.
I know exactly
hug.
what picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so fun,
dude. Man.
But yeah, I remember. Okay, I do know remember. I do know remember.
I do not remember. No, it's
edit that out, please.
Nope, simply won't.
Fuck. I remember that show now. And that was a good show. The food was better.
Fair. That's all that matters, really. It's the food.
And yeah, Cupertino sucked because no one showed up.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do?
It's just, it is what it is. Like I don't remember having like oh, I hate everything in life right now moment, after a show with those guys. It was there was like a couple times where I was like, I'm bummed out. But it wasn't shitty.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember, and I won't speak on it for the other bands, but I remember mixed feelings from everyone when that tour got home and like ended at home.
Yeah,
and part of it had to do with the other band. Yeah, like not in Silas.
We're talking DC.
Yeah, we're talking DC.
Oh,
and
dude, that was a mess.
Thank God Derek's out of that.
Shout out to Inflict. Like, honestly, that is one of my favorite projects. I'd love to have Derek on here at some point too. But yeah, no, that was a very, very like that. If there was one thing that bummed me out, it was certain people in that camp. Yeah, specifically,
very specific.
Yeah, specific people. So
no, I remember that coming home and everyone was kind of like on edge for a little bit. It was just weird. It was like from the and that show that day was just weird because of it. Yeah, it was strange. That was the day.
Derek played the fuck out of his shit every single night though.
Oh, dude, Derek was crazy.
I remember gravitating toward his side of the stage and being like, I gotta watch this dude.
Dude, I would just stand by Derek too, and I was just like, all right.
He's also another one of those like really crazy hardworking people. Like,
dude, Derek's out here just doing so much all the time.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point where I'm like, I would want this dude to feature on vocal for me.
Dude, honestly, he's so good.
Yeah.
Like, Inflict rocks.
He does it all.
And Derek's just good at everything.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's goofy as hell. He posts his ass a lot. But...
Dude, Derek's posting ass for free.
Yeah. He should be monetizing that shit.
He should be monetizing his literal cheeks.
His only Derek's.
His only Derek's. Nothing else. Only Derek. Okay. But, oh, man. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up.
Catch us next time on the things we've seen.
I was going to say the price is right. I think that's...
Remember to spay and neuter your Tristans.
Can we get Drew Carey to do a cameo of that?
Oh my God. He probably does do cameo. So.
Dude, I wish I could do a Drew Carey impression.
I can't.
I'll practice.
No. Thanks and thanks.
Thanks and thanks. We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll be back shortly.
Again, like we mentioned before, if you see anything that you think we could touch up on, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, we're pretty fresh at this.
Yeah, very fresh.
Anything you guys want us to go over? Anything we could talk about, damn near anything.
If you're in a band and you want to be on here, just hit that DM.
You got music you want to share with us? Your band, your buddy's band? Send it our way.
We'll get it on.
We're gonna fucking get it on. Anyway.
Thank you much.